I can hear it.
Oh, can they?
Can they? I guess we'll just take a quick. Let me just pull up Facebook real quick to see if our
I
audio
can
can work.
start to sign.
YouTube.
What to do? What to do? Oh, I can look and see if we have sound on the phone, right? Oh.
Yeah, I don't think we have sound. Okay, troubleshoot.
Thanks, our two watchers, for letting us know.
Why are you abusing them? They're our only faithful people.
They can't even hear us.
Like,
I'm signed at them
it's
right
like
now.
we're artists, and then we have two people came to our concert, and the ones that came, you're bullying them.
Like this. Why not say you can hear us?
Okay, how about now? I feel like it's my other. That one's getting picked up. Let's see. Let me think it's gonna sound better.
It's muted.
What's muted?
You've muted sound effects down there.
No, that's not the function how I do it. That's a software sound effects.
Reflect that time.
Should we stop this stream and then restream the next one
Yeah, I think that would be the best.
and delete this one? Hello.
Hello.
It works.
Yay! I thought we were about to have to just sign and do a show for the deaf today.
Okay. Wow.
Everything was lost.
Maybe AI could read our lips and fill in our voices and our. No.
That's a lot.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Audio errors the first 22 minutes of this.
Yep.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right. Weight loss. We're talking about weight loss.
Yeah.
We're talking about it in the context. So ChatGPT pretty much what AI is doing is consolidating the best of the best of the best information into one place. So in other words, nobody will have the excuse for the future of human history of not being able to know how to lose weight.
As long as there's internet.
Well, Elon Musk with Starlink, have you seen the video?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi in middle of nowhere?
Yeah, but have you seen a video of the Earth and then the satellites surrounding Earth?
No.
Want to see it?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we're going to take y'all on a little bit of a ride since
Okay.
sadness. When is
Let's
it
see.
time to start putting your kids on the treadmill?
Wow. All right, let's see. I'm pretty sure I saw this on Twitter, so.
Okay.
Media, maybe? Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, we're not going to show the...
I am going to put this on our stream. What button? Let me try this button.
Yay, but we're
1. Let me see. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I know it's gonna sound bad, but I felt like we were awfully quiet. Like I felt like I was awfully quiet during the whole first half, and maybe I should have said something.
What you did? Wait, what do you mean you were quiet?
During the first 22 minutes of our podcast, like I felt like I sounded muffled.
Nope, I had nothing. That would not be.
Well, I don't sound muffled now.
Why are you so triggered?
I low-key thought that I was still going to be a little salty towards you today, but I'm not.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, hold on real quick. All right, so before that,
I'll explain later.
keyword salty. Salty Wallace. All right, so y'all can see this? All right, check it out. I'll leave the audio off so we don't get in trouble by somebody. All right. This is supposed to illustrate how many satellites are surrounding the world to give internet access to every. These are just Starlink satellites.
And they don't run into each other?
Do they run into each other? I don't think they do. I mean,
I mean, yeah, but like, are they never going to run into each other? I guess not. Whatever.
you see the date on the bottom where it's more and more and more and more. So back to this idea. The idea of not having internet access is becoming is becoming a thing where.
What if there's like a giant solar flare and it burns all the satellites?
Yeah, again, suppose that anything is possible. But for the ongoing future, it doesn't seem as though internet access will be a problem for human beings. And it's also, so if internet's not a problem, and then so everybody in the world would potentially have access to Chat GPT.
Yes.
So what are your? So anyway,
So
no
there should be
excuses
no
to not.
excuses.
So there's no reason to have an information gap about how to lose weight.
Yeah, to not be educated.
Now you might not know the psychological factors, the environmental factors, the genetic factors. Those are relevant, but there seems to be within human history not to be a reason to not be aware of what it takes for somebody to lose weight. And you could even become aware of the psychological factors because of ChatGPT. You could become aware of the environmental factors. You could become aware of the genetic factors that might be changing your weight and all of that. So back to the conversation we were having, which was, at what point would you begin to take it serious, the idea of weight loss tactics, or whether it's psychological or raising food awareness? You began to talk about when you the kind of food you eat. You blasted somebody in our family. Maybe the Lord was just protecting the person you were blasting in our family.
I don't think she has a problem with it, but I think it's
You literally said she has a problem with it.
a problem with the blasting, not a problem with the food. She obviously has a problem with the food, Derek. Okay.
What is it about you women who... I didn't even finish my sentence. What is it about you women who...
I already said Derek had triggered me.
Wait, on the pod?
No,
Okay.
off the pod.
Okay, do you want to have a come to Jesus moment and repent of your sins and get cleansed?
No,
Okay, well,
I'll
I
sit
offered,
over here.
I offered you a pathway to heaven,
Wallow.
and you just... Okay, you want to talk about your situation? Your tude?
My dude. Derek was sending us a million messages in our group chat, and we all had to read. That's it. That's where my attitude is coming from.
If I had an ambulance. That's it? So I send text messages?
You sent like at least 20 paragraphs.
20 paragraphs.
Yeah, I really feel it.
Feel? Yeah, I imagine.
I feel like that.
I imagine you would appeal to feeling. You and your kind. Okay.
There's
So,
at least 5 paragraphs.
so you're defining a paragraph like what? 2 sentences?
3
Okay, so you're saying 15. I said 15 sentences. Fair.
at least.
Okay. So you were triggered just by not on how valuable the information was. You were
And it was late.
okay.
And I had to read it all.
Had to.
Yes, Derek, I can't not read it all.
Every now and then I lose hope in humanity.
I can't just ignore it because then I don't like not knowing what's going on.
You can't. You can't, or you prefer not to. You don't have the ability to ignore it.
Not inside me, nope.
Okay, somebody has a gun to your head. You can't ignore it.
I'd be like this.
So you can. You could. Okay, you could under the right circumstances. Okay, so then we won't use the word can't. You'll say I prefer not to. Okay, got it. What else?
That's it right there. That's it. Y'all seen it.
What? Okay, so do you know what it's like living in this world when it's like you're the... Is Siri talking? Do you know what it's like living in this world thinking that... Okay, this is... Did you see the movie I, Robot? Will Smith.
No, I'd never seen it. No, yes, I've seen it. I think we talked about it the other day.
Cool.
I've seen it.
There's a line in the movie and he goes, do you know what it's like to walk through life when it's like you're the last sane person alive? Okay? Do you know what that's like? Can you imagine being the only one who could think clearly? The only one who's logical, who is sound, who is valid? Oh, snap. I still have the YouTube on.
What is that?
All right. Our sound is coming through. Okay. All right, go ahead. Okay. Okay.
There's a show, right?
Go
There's
ahead.
a show in in Mexico. I believe it's Mexico. It's in Spanish. The show's in Spanish. And it's about kind of like that concept where there's a girl named Bibi and she's the only one who's logical and everybody else is like kind of airy. So they're always like doing bad stuff and like doing things the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then everybody says, "Oh, Bibi, why can't you just ever be normal?"
Yes. It would be nice. If I had a normal button, I'd press it. Illogical, emotional, instinctual, but alas. Okay, so now, back to the substance of what was messaged. So you're triggered by, you're saying 15 sentences. I'm saying maybe 12. Not that we have a whole podcast where we speak for 60, 70, 80, 90 minutes straight when it's much more than that, but reading seems to be an issue. Even though you're sitting next to an author who has his books, hundreds and hundreds of pages laid out right here. But back to you. So, did you have a problem with the substance of these 15 text messages of paragraphs?
Slightly. Not just, I felt like, it was late. It was a lot of reading. And then for like the content to be like thinking content, like, oh, well, let's think about this side of things. Like, just jump on the bandwagon, Derek.
See, what, you don't think there's a sheep problem in society where it's just like, okay, don't use your brain?
Did I not say I'm a sheep?
I wasn't sure if you were saying I'm a sheep, I'm Derek, or Amy's a sheep. So you were saying you were a sheep. Okay.
Yes. I was saying that I am a sheep.
Yeah. Okay, fair. See, that was a pretty good. But then your emoji kind of made it seem like, I don't know, like how to interpret this.
Was it a smiley face or upside down smiley face?
Could have been a devil. Purple devil.
This one.
Anyway,
Yes.
but either way, so you're saying, okay, so text messages, and you're saying late. It wasn't even after midnight.
It was like 9:30.
That's late.
or 10ish.
That's late for a 24-year-old? What are you talking about?
I'm pregnant and I have a less than 1-year-old.
Okay,
I
so
go to sleep.
that's late for you.
early.
you do know you could mute certain apps on your phone in certain time frames so you don't even have access to them?
I like to know what's going on right then and there, Derek.
See, there's another moment where there are
I am. What is it called? A fear of being left out.
FOMO?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying you refuse to mute an app and mute your phone, but you do see how these things are incompatible with each other.
No.
Okay. So anyway, you said you're over being triggered or you're re-triggered, just going over it.
No, I'm over being triggered.
Praise the Lord. Thanks, cheap viewers. Thanks for the suggestion. Bots. The bots are attacking. What can we name our bots?
Let's see.
I was gonna say the monster under the bridge, but that's trolls. But trolls mean something else in our society.
Yeah.
Let's okay.
See.
Okay, so you're not triggered anymore?
Boogers.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to it. Okay. So
I'm not triggered anymore. I'm letting it go.
So are you ready to be a lion or you still want to be a sheep?
I'm not going to be a sheep for some things. But I did start to see your point. You know,
Hallelujah!
I did.
Praise Jesus!
But I felt like there could have been a lot less yapping to get the point across.
Okay.
And then I started to realize that's probably how Jeremy thinks about me sometimes.
Okay. All right. So Jeremy thinks you're a yapper.
Jeremy thinks that, no offense to any of us, but Jeremy thinks that all of us are a little yappy. Our whole family yappies a little bit.
Dang, you just firing some shots today. Mom. Those are all silent, so they all got covered up. But yeah, Jeremy. Okay.
It's just because Jeremy doesn't talk. Like, Jeremy doesn't talk a lot. So then all of us, we talk, like, a lot.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think some people just don't communicate. And I think we communicate a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm glad you were persuaded.
Yeah. To
So-
change my vote?
No.
No.
That was like almost like a non
Issue.
yeah, but you were persuaded to my point of view
Yeah.
of the two main issues that are actually on the table.
I felt like the text message that you sent broken down into 1 and 2. I felt like that's the point. That was the point. That could have been the first message sent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I got it then. Clicked.
So okay, so good point. So you don't think any of those other messages maybe prepared your brain to be ready for me to finally get to that point?
I do feel like all those other messages were making me angry. Like, oh, I don't understand why he's blah, blah, blah.
Okay, you didn't see how even the point you made was making my point?
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
My point. I wasn't even trying to make a point, Derek. I was just finishing the saying.
Okay, so we even explained. There's like of whoever our audience is. Most people don't even know what we're talking. They're like, what are they talking about? Do you want to say anything of our
Okay.
situation?
Long story short, we're thinking about leaving our baseball league to a different baseball league. And that's it. The whole point is leaving the league or staying, but leaving the league comes with its own risks. Staying in the
See,
league
that's all.
has its own
That's all I
risks.
want from people who make decisions that affect me, is to understand if you make one decision, there's good and there's bad. Make another decision, there's good and there's bad, and don't paint one decision as that there's no bad. There is bad. But like why is it that it seems like somebody's saying let's do this and nobody's gonna say the bad? Nobody.
No, because we want to be optimistic. And we don't want to bring bad juju. Bad bubble thoughts.
Okay, back to you voting for Trump. He was convicted this past week.
So does that mean he can't run?
He can. He can actually be president from jail. So
Okay, but like, what are the alternatives?
Biden,
And
JFK, Jr. Or Robert RFK, Robert F. Yeah, he's the independent, I think.
FK Jr.
I don't know. I mean, this is how much I know. Robert
Okay.
Kennedy Jr. RF. Robert K. RK. J.
Okay. I don't know about voting, Derek.
You said you're going to vote.
Yeah.
And you said you're going to vote for the person who provided the best tax incentives for business because of your mom.
Yep.
So?
I haven't heard any arguments yet.
You said, but you said to me you would base it on based on what pops up in your algorithm online.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay. So then does that mean you're not going to vote, or does it mean you're not persuaded to one side yet?
I'm sure like the week of, they'll start making arguments.
Do you have to register?
Yep.
Have you?
I think I have the paperwork.
Okay.
I have to send it back.
All right. Back to the weight loss situation. Now we went on a couple of tangents.
Yeah, we did.
And but I guess we didn't finish saying we were voting or not to stay or leave in our baseball league. And I was painting the picture saying, look, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Like just because you leave the league doesn't mean you solve the problems you have. So for my example was, oh, the refs in this league are bad. Let's go to a new league. Okay, do you have a guarantee that the refs will be better? If the answer is no, saying, okay, we're taking a risk that the refs could be same or worse. But okay, it's a reality.
Yes.
Then if you lose your best player while you do it, is anybody going to bring that up? Is that a factor? You'll prefer to lose. That's why I sent you the records of what our record was in our December league, what our record was in our February league, 2 losing seasons. And we are in our first winning season. And we actually have, again, I would argue probably our best player on our team that he might leave our team if we leave the league.
Yep.
So I was saying the grass isn't always greener. And then you said it's greener where you water it. And then somebody liked it, or maybe a few people liked it. And I was like, that makes the point to not just leave the league, just water the league that you're in. Make it green here.
Or get their ump fired. The situational.
But back to what are the pros and cons of that? Let's say you do get your ump fired.
Could the next ump be worse?
That's true. Or maybe the league can't exist without the number of umps needed to be able to have the league. Now you don't have a league at all.
Well, then Jordan can just fill in.
As the ump and player?
Well, he can ump other games.
So they'll close down our league and our evening of games? He can't ump our game.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what we're talking about.
He can ump the other ones.
Uh-huh.
Then maybe someone else can just ump ours.
But you've got him fired. And there's a deficit in the market.
Yeah, I know.
Okay?
Why can't they get another one?
Do you think it's that easy?
I don't know.
Okay. So before you fire somebody, maybe you should think about how easy it would be to replace them. And if there's a surplus of umps or a deficit,
How would I know, Derek?
maybe you ask Aimee.
Well, on our last game, there was umps sitting in the stands. So to me, what does that say?
Umps plural or ump singular?
At one point, plural.
Okay.
So I'm going to write a very worded letter.
Okay.
A Derek-sized letter.
All right. Back to So I think I'm more validated more than ever, especially when I think about who do you think I am? So I think Jeremy has a lot of validity in the family being yappers, and I might be.
The yappiest.
I was gonna say the king, but yappiest is okay too.
Yeah. Okay, so when is it time to put the kid on the treadmill?
Treadmill. Okay, so
Metaphorical.
Right, or exercise plan, modifying diet, giving some strategic psychological
Metaphorically, when
components.
is it time to put them on the treadmill, on a diet, on anything that needs to happen? I think that, and that's what I was getting into. Like, I think that from a young age, you should be constantly trying to build a good relationship between your child and food. You don't want it to be like a dependency, like something that they do when they're upset, or something that they fall back on, or even just like you don't want your children to end up having a negative relationship with food because that can cause problems, or too much of dependency on the gratification they get from eating. I think that that's where problems arise. So I think that from a young age, you need to make sure that your kids are being active. From a young age, you need to make sure you're watching what they're eating. From the time that they're born, from the time that they're born all the way as they get older. By the time your child goes into pre-K, they're like, 4 years old? Or even pre-K 3, they're 3 years old. Before then, they should be running around and being active. They should be eating well. They should have a healthy relationship with food, that they don't overdo it. They shouldn't be overstuffing themselves. They shouldn't be overdoing it with junk food. Like all these things. That's what I'd assume. I mean, but let's say I try to do everything I can, keep my kid active, keep up with all of these things, and then they get into pre-K feel like pre-K is super early still, but let's say 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Like around 3rd grade, which they're like 9 or 8 maybe. So like 7, 8 years old, and they're gaining a lot of weight. They're not establishing a good relationship. Then I feel like it's time for us to sit down and say, like, okay, what is causing this? Like, are you overeating because I'm not taking you out enough? Are we not running around enough? Are we, am I buying too much, let's say frozen foods, and you're super addicted to frozen pizzas or frozen, whatever, like, is it something that I'm doing? Is there something that I can do to help that? Is it because you're eating because you're bored and you're sitting in front of the TV, all day and you're eating? Like, what are the things that are going on at that point, so that you can start to make a change? I think that once your child is already 7 or 8 years old, you can kind of see that, okay, you've been consistently chubbier for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all these years, and they're not getting any smaller. Especially because I think that 3rd, 4th, 5th grade is when they start getting into bullying. Like kids start to bully, I'd assume like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So like those middle years, I think is when kids start to bully a lot more. So I would just be super nervous that I don't want to not see it in 3rd grade and not try to help them in 3rd grade, so that when that doesn't end up something they're bullied. I feel like kids are always going to get, bullied for being how they are, being who they are. Yeah. I don't want it to be something that then, they're bullied for being overweight, and then it just makes things worse, and then I think it just makes it even harder for people to lose weight later on.
Got it. Yeah, I think about... Well, it's interesting because there are people who certainly push the idea of losing, again, eating healthy, but you could eat healthy, but still your quantities being too much food. And then, because for me, breaking it down it's just a game of math. It's just addition and subtraction. So if I started a an eating regimen of going. I want to lose weight. Okay, so if you think about like what's on most packages, is most packages assume that 2,000 calories is your normal average American caloric balance. If you eat more than that, whatever. So
Daily?
Daily. Now, from a weight loss perspective, it might be beneficial so it's helpful for me to think I'm gonna move that to 1,500. If I plan for 1,500, I'm probably okay. Now, I probably will lose weight, even if it's a small amount. Now, if I go for a run that day, and if I walk for 45 minutes, 60 minutes, I might lose 800 calories. So now I'm going from 1,500. Now I could consume 2,300 and still lose weight.
Yeah.
But it's just thinking through the caloric density of some of the foods. So then some psychological things that I've learned, which is there's a difference between I didn't have to give up pizza. I didn't have to give up candy. I didn't have to give up chips. I didn't have to give up all of these things to lose 45 pounds.
Yeah.
So then what was it? Well, just understanding that I could even overeat one day, but understand like the principle of 3,500. 3,500 is the general principle of how many calories if you're over when you gain a true pound, or if you're under to lose a true pound.
Yeah.
So the idea is if you're at a caloric deficit of 500 calories every day for a week, 7 times 500 is 3,500. So
Yeah.
you could lose a pound in a week by being at a caloric deficit of 500 calories.
Yeah.
If you want to lose a pound over 2 weeks, it would just do a caloric deficit of 250. So you'll lose weight just at a slower pace.
Yeah.
So then understanding that a Little Caesars pizza, hot and ready, calorically speaking, it's 2,500 calories. Meaning if you consume that whole pizza by yourself, you actually won't even gain a pound. In fact,
If that's all you eat all day.
if that's all you ate all day, but now let's talk psychological. Psychologically, though, I ate a whole pizza. The scale will say I gained 4 pounds, and that's psychologically will mess you up.
Yeah.
You go, oh well, I already gained these 4 pounds. I've been working so hard, and why even try? Hold on. Now, understanding how carbs affect your weight gain, how sodium, the salt in the bread, the salt in the cheese, the salt in the pepperonis, all of these things affect your weight gain. So I know in my body, I will gain weight from some extra salt. I'll gain weight from some extra carbs, but I call it artificial weight because just as easily as I gained it, I also can easily lose it. It's not very, very, very difficult to lose. So all of that to say is there's these tactics of things that I think about psychologically is like I don't got to get depressed if I gain weight from a pizza, knowing that it was easy on, easy off.
Yeah.
Same thing if I go for a run, I could start the run at 184 pounds. After the run, I could be like 179. I could lose 4 to 5 pounds in one run. Now, is that real weight loss? Did I legitimately lose, again, 3,500 calories times 4? Let's say that I really used 14,000 calories in one run. No, I didn't. Probably 800. So what does that mean? Artificial weight loss. That means I'm not going to get too hype that I lost 4 pounds in a run. Probably it was artificial weight loss, which is water weight.
Yeah.
I got dehydrated. So this psychological component is not getting too hype and too amped up whenever I lose weight, but also not getting too low or too down whenever I gain weight because I ate wings that have a lot of sodium, that have a lot of salt, that makes me a little more bloated, that makes me retain water. So there's certain meals that I could eat, and I could gain 9 pounds into one meal. But I also can know it's not really real weight.
Wow. Yeah.
So anyway, it's what I've been thinking about as far as, my son, if he goes through this, like at what point will it be taken more seriously, more so quantities, because that's really all. Ultimately, what we're talking about is quantity of caloric intake from what you eat and what you drink.
Yeah. And what did you come up with?
For my son?
Yeah.
Well, so you talked about this idea of a healthy relationship with food, and I was thinking about what would my definition be?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I've been working on is, as I've been losing weight, how can I lose weight without phobia? So phobia is defined as not just afraid, and that defined as like some anxiety about the consequence. So I want to be able to, as I've been on this weight loss journey, it's, can I lose the weight without being afraid of, oh no, if I eat this food, then what if I gain all this weight? Or
Yeah.
what if I gain 4 pounds because of this one pizza? But then really going, again, that's psychological. Psychological meaning it's fear oriented. It's fear
Yeah.
meaning there's a negative, oh no, what bad thing could happen if I do this one thing?
Yeah.
So how do I have my son know that he can consume it? So last night I ate gushers and in chamoy and some of the trechas
Yeah.
and some of this other one too. But it's like, I knew the caloric amount. So the whole box of gushers was 1,600 calories. I didn't eat the whole box. I ate half, which is 800 calories. The chamoy added a whole another element. But all of this stuff, it's very math oriented. And again, I know you and I joke about the autistic idea. And I was like, okay, like there's a part of my brain. It's like, oh, like you can just think about food as calories.
Yeah.
You could think about food as numbers. Again, I don't. I don't want to disrespect the autistic community by saying, hey, I'm something that you are. I don't know. But there's a part of me that my brain can just program it. All right, it's just a calorie. It's just a number.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that also gives you peace of mind. Like, not to feel guilty or, anything when you're eating your food, which I think is precisely the reason, And I also like, how comfortable is my child with trying new foods?
Yeah.
Because, I'm not going to make certain things at home every single day. I'm not going to have certain things at home that, like, we might see out at a restaurant or somebody else might make in their house. Like, how comfortable is my son going to be trying foods other places? And I think that, like, also, like, forcing your child to eat foods that they don't want to eat
Yeah.
is also causes problems. So, like, I know for me, growing up, I wouldn't want to eat certain foods and, like, my dad would be like, no, you have to. Like, you have to try it. You have to at least try it. And then I would try it, and I would be like, no, that's nasty. Like, I don't want to try that again. And then again later, he would tell me again, like, no, you have to try it. You have to try it. And it's like, I kept trying foods that I didn't like, and it just made me so, like, I don't want to try those foods. So I feel like for years, I had to train myself to, like, okay, you can venture outside of just eating the foods that you like. Like, before, I never liked cabbage. I never liked Brussels sprouts. I never liked so many different foods. And it's like I've now gotten to a place where I've opened up my palate, and it's taken me time. But I do feel like, just even those things. And I've seen, like, parents try to sneak certain vegetables into their kid's food, and then the kid finds it, and then now they don't trust you as a parent, and they don't trust the food that you make.
Mm.
So it's like, stuff like that.
Yeah. Interesting. So you think that some of that behavior has affected you now?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that, I because I know myself, that I've realized that was something, like, that was keeping me from trying new foods, because I was like, no, I just don't like it. Like, I used to be one of those people who would say, like, oh, I just don't like that. And I wouldn't even try it.
Yeah.
Because I was so scared that, like, I was going to have to try it, and then I was not going to like it, and then it was going to make me sick. So it's like, for the longest time, I never wanted to try any food.
Mm.
But now, like, I eat such a, like, large variety of different types of food that I've been able to go places and try different food and actually enjoy it. And there is some things, obviously, that I don't like. I don't like scallops. I don't like, what is it? Octopus? Is it squid? Calamari?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like calamari. So there's some things that, like, I know myself, like, I don't like.
Yeah.
But I have gone out of my way to personally, like, try them,
Yeah.
Because I knew that for a long time, I never tried them. But recently, the last 2-3 years, I've, like, really been focusing on trying new foods.
Yeah. There we go. So not only ordering wings from Chili's.
Yeah, that's true. I've ordered a steak, salmon, pasta.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or I've even tried, like, different flavors of, like, chicken crispers,
Mm.
I've tried lots of different food now.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna order wings at Chili's.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I did. Like for a long time.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing too. Is like so back to psychological. So one of the reasons that weight loss could be stressful is because you like if you're thinking about I need to prepare different foods, which is probably true. It's probably true to prepare different foods, but it can alleviate stress. So sometimes a limited number of options can make it a lot easier for you to walk through what you're going to be eating. So if I'm eating eggs, turkey bacon, chicken, steak, then it's not extra complicated to figure out, okay, and then tuna. Then when I was doing, again, more of that carnivore diet, then it's actually super simple. So you think about what's more stressful. Well, there can be an element of stress of trying to rethink about all these kinds of foods you have to prepare. But then when you're just thinking, okay, I'm just doing meat and meat products and again, some cheese, these protein chips, then it doesn't have to be, again, super complicated. So then back to psychological. Why is that psychological? It's because stress can come when you're overwhelmed with the number of options that you have and you go, what do I do? Mm-hmm. But if you know, like, oh, like my options aren't crazy, they're actually pretty finite. So that's, again, other factors that contribute to the whole mix.
Yep. Yeah.
You said something earlier that was connected to something you were going to say on the pod.
In the pod? I said something in the pod that was going to connect.
You said something, I think, before the pod. You were going to bring into the pod.
I wrote it down.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so I wrote... Oh, so I was talking about... I don't know if you do this. Do you ever send videos, like, to Angelita?
Have I ever in my whole life? Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so but videos from social media?
I have. It's probably a really limited amount, but yeah.
Yeah. So I
try not to keep on. Go ahead.
Not to overdo it.
Well, my Twitter profile is so kind of refined. Mm-hmm. It's really tailored to my own interests. It's like basketball.
Yeah.
So it's how many basketball things am I really gonna send to her? So
Jeremy and I's as really similar, so we always end up sending things back and forth to each other. So I always feel like I've stopped liking anything he sends me. So I had said something to Jeremy. We were sitting in the room together and I was watching the videos he sent me. So then I was reacting to them, I was liking them on the phone so that he would know that I seen them. But then he's like, why are you liking them and you're sitting right next to me? I can see that you're watching them. I was like, well, just so that in case you're not paying attention, you know that I watch them. And then he's like, okay, and I was like, do you ever like mine? And then he's like, well, I like them if I like the video you sent me. So then I was like, why have I been liking all these videos just to let you know that I've seen them when I don't even know if you've watched any of the videos I've sent you.
Right.
So then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to like these videos anymore. So now I've just in secret been watching all the videos and he doesn't even know. But I'm thinking about it because I feel like I put so much weight on things sometimes, I'm hurting somebody's feelings, which I guess goes back to kind of what we were talking about in our group chat. You know, I put weight on things I have to do this every single time so that I don't hurt his feelings. When in reality, he doesn't even care. He does not even care if I even watch these videos. So I was like, well, yeah. So I realized that maybe I think too much sometimes.
Well, no, I think the tool that was being mentioned was the idea of projecting our feelings onto somebody else, and maybe they have the same feelings, maybe they don't, and also being okay that they don't have the same feelings that you have, and it's an interesting, again, I think it makes people sensitive and considerate. I think that's a strength that it gives you. Then, but then it also could be inaccurate. So for me, I just go, oh, if I have animosity with somebody, then I'll just ask them if they. I won't go, oh, this person feels this way. Like again, to me, it's almost like a waste of time to think through your feeling when I get to ask you, oh, were you offended by this? And they go, no. They go, okay, cool, not offended. Move on. So.
Yeah, I do feel like I tend to do that. I tend to think somebody's offended, but it's different because girls do. Girls do kind of get sly offended. I think, at least. I'm not gonna shoot down any member of the family again. I'm just saying. It's so funny because like I'll do things, like I'll do slight things to make sure that I feel like, because I know certain people's triggers. You know, like I know what triggers somebody to think about something.
Yeah.
So then if I can, I would do everything in my power to avoid hitting that trigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like sometimes I'll do something and then Jeremy's like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, because I just don't want anybody to see me, you know, even just like something like see me crossing the street barefoot and then they get mad at me because I don't have shoes on. You know, something like that. Just like I don't want anybody to see me doing something and then it triggers them to get mad at me about why I'm not wearing the shoes they bought me or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, so he's like, well, like, how do you even know that that's what they're going to say? And I'm like, because I know, like, I just know what sometimes makes certain people feel upset.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It is, in fact.
Yeah, I think there's an element of what you said that I respect. The idea of like ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Let's prevent the drama from even happening. But there's an element of like that I reject of like walking on eggshells. I think what the encouragement is knowing I can speak my mind on a number of things, and if somebody's bothered, I could have the conversation with them individually and then restore it. So there's a part of that not getting, maybe I'll call obsessed. I think it's good to think through, oh, will somebody be offended or bothered by this? But there's another level when it becomes obsessive. And then when you become obsessive, then it's like, is that helpful for you in processing the information? And then I go, instead of being obsessive, let me just say things and then move through life. And if somebody gets offended along the way, you know, the longest chapter in the book on marriage is about conflict resolution. So it's just like conflict resolution tactics, different things that I do with my friends to be able to resolve conflict when somebody feels disrespected, somebody feels not considered, somebody feels overlooked, and okay, you know, reassurance and different principles for all of these things. But anyway, all that to say is it's helpful. It's reassuring knowing I can make mistakes walking through life, and my friends are going to be okay, and my family is going to be okay. And if ever they're not, my Christian worldview goes, it's a them and God thing. Like even if it's not like, oh, God, forget you, God, but it's a them and God thing in the sense of like, if somebody's choosing, in the Christian perspective, if somebody's choosing unforgiveness and bitterness, they're literally choosing to forfeit their salvation. As they say, they're basically saying, I don't want to go to heaven. I'd rather go to hell and keep my bitterness. That's like the intensity that Jesus described is if you don't forgive the people, your neighbor, your brother, your sister, if you don't forgive them, then you're not going to be forgiven. You're forfeiting like the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. You're saying, hey, like that doesn't matter. I'd rather keep my bitterness.
Yeah.
So I think it's really helpful relationship-wise is like, oh, I actually, in my faith, in the philosophy of faith, if I want to go to heaven, I have to forgive everyone.
Yeah.
Which, again, can be frustrating at times. It's like, oh, dang, I guess if I want to go to heaven, I got to forgive you. Even if it's like completely selfish, right? Completely self-motivated. Like, I care about me going to heaven, so I got to forgive you.
Yeah. That makes sense. Holding grudges. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Do I hold grudges? A little bit. A little bit with Jeremy sometimes when he gets on my nerves.
Or like fake grudges that I rolled up the door on you when you were 2 years old, or the window when it was you. All right, I think I had a few topics.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Okay, so why do you have two phones?
Because I got a new phone.
Why?
And
Why?
because this one is mine. This one is mom's. But
Yeah.
I answer her phone. I answer the phone calls for Puente Bookkeeping and Tax Services.
Yeah.
So I do that. And so that's what this phone is. So that was my only phone for the longest time. My phone was the phone for Puente Bookkeeping and Tax Services.
Yep.
But that was not my personal phone. So now I got another phone.
Why?
Because mom needs her phone back at some point in time, and I don't want to be in charge of Puente Bookkeeping and Tax Services indefinitely because I'm not an expert. I'm just a worker.
Okay, hold on. I'm still looking for the reason why. Maybe I'm lost, but so I'm still waiting. Keep going. Maybe it's
So
it's in
mom
there
needs
somewhere.
her phone back at
When?
some point. It's not tax season. But I guess at some point in time, somebody's going to have to run the bookkeeping and tax service. They're going to need this phone because it's on the billboard outside. It's already on the thing.
Mhm.
So they're going to need this phone back. But I have both of them because there's not that somebody. And I don't want to be that somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give this phone back. This other phone is mine. Belongs to me.
Okay, then maybe I'll be more precise with my
Jeremy
questions.
pays for this one. Mom pays for that one.
Right. So well, I guess what I'm is why give Jeremy an extra bill?
Because
So maybe I'll be more precise with my question is what this is actually not a part of my notes. I looked up and saw both of your phones. Is there, I guess, why now as opposed to when you give the phone back?
oh, I'm sure that me and mom had a heated argument one day. I'm sure it was something along those lines. And she might not have brought it up, but I knew it was coming. Shot number 4. I'm sure it was me. I'm sure we didn't even have a heated argument about the phone, but I know it's coming. So I don't want to be blindsided and then not have a phone at all.
For a few hours while you got it.
No, because at the same time, I have this other phone because I'm slowly switching over. So, like, I'm still in group chats for this other phone, and I still have other things. So I'm trying to stay and tell everybody I'm in the other place. Also, I forget about, like, I've switched my contacts over, but I don't want to just text everybody and be like, hey, I got a new phone. This is my number. So I'm waiting till I have to talk to them, and then I text them from my new phone.
Okay.
But if it came down to it, I mean,
You know, there's like we're in 2024 and you could just like transfer all of them over,
yeah, and I have them all on my new phone.
but they just don't know.
They don't know. So if they text me on my old phone, they don't know. So that's why I got to put them on my new phone.
Then
Yes.
that one would be a good reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still do Puente Bookkeeping and Tax
Got it.
Services stuff.
So we did ultimately get to the real answer. The real answer was that other one.
Yeah.
I had no idea. But I feel like there's something that just wasn't lining up. Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah. So you can still text me on both, and I will reply on both. Either or.
All right. If Aimee were to speak to a group of men about a topic that they need to hear from you, what would be your topic?
What do these men do? Are they criminals? Are they business owners? Are they kids in high school?
Okay,
Are they middle
so your
schoolers?
your speaking agent comes to you and says, actually, we have all of these groups that would love to hear from you. So 1, you get to pick your group, and then 2, you get to pick your topic.
Okay. So
All right,
all
so-
these groups, right?
All right,
Okay,
so you get to pick.
So,
Which group would you pick?
let me see. I think I'd pick middle schoolers or high schoolers.
Okay, let's go with high schoolers.
All right, high schoolers. And I would tell them
Your topic. So you're gonna
My
go.
topic is
Yeah,
going to be don't get attached to women right now.
And then your reason for that?
Everybody is selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty much it. I think I would go thinking about, things that I was thinking about at that point in time, things that I did at that point in time, ways that I was selfish, ways that I thought about myself, ways that even if you do want to be the kind of man who grows up and supports his significant other, you still need to take care of yourself first. And then on top of that, as a young man, it's also important to from a female's perspective, to not be with somebody who wants to be with everybody else. Be with someone who wants to be with everybody.
Yes. Okay.
From a woman's
Some good
perspective.
points over here. Okay. All right. Now, my agent. Wait. You're my agent, and a booker. I'm just making up the title at this point. A booker comes to you and says, "Hey, we have some different groups of women, same categories you mentioned, that want Derek to come in and speak." Then, which group would you pick for me, and what would my topic be to them?
Probably middle-aged married women.
Middle-aged, so 45 to 60.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what would my topic be?
Marriage.
Okay. And then what do you think? What value would I have to offer them about to middle-aged women about marriage?
Maybe what the man's thinking.
Hmm.
I feel like there's never enough explanation or perspective that you can get from the opposite sex, especially as far as relationships go.
Yeah. Okay. That's deep stuff. Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Then I had one more. What was it?
I also feel like sometimes when you're making decisions, like guys are making decisions, or even girls, like I cannot stress enough, like when you're making decisions, if you're making a dumb decision, you're going to remember it. Like I used to think like, oh, I'll probably get older and I'll forget it. I'll probably forget. But it's like, no, if I made a dumb decision and I knew, like, after I made the decision that it was dumb,
Yeah.
I just kept telling myself, well, eventually it'll, and I'm only 24, so we still have time. I could still forget. But as of right now, I do know that a lot of the dumb decisions that I've made still haunt me to this day, So, like, I've told Erilyn that too. Like, I told her, like, okay, when you're doing something, if you think, like, oh, you're not going to remember that, I promise you will. I promise you those moments will haunt you at least until you're 24 because I've made these dumb decisions.
Like your story about getting drunk and pass out in Colorado and then whatever, your situation legally and not being able to travel outside of the country.
So it's like, yes. But
Like,
even just like small dumb decisions, like, let me try to think.
like stabbing somebody in their leg.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even, just anything. Or even like dancing with somebody at a school dance. Like, why did I do that? Like, thinking about it, like, grosses me out. Gives me cringe for myself. Like, and that specific scenario, not what I'm talking about, but like kind of like something similar. Like, doing something similar. And it's like you think about those things later on and you get cringe with yourself. Like, they do haunt you. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I would like it for anybody who's young to understand that if you want it to haunt you for at least 7 or 8 more years, go ahead and make your decisions. Yeah.
Nice.
mean, what? I was
Ooh.
15 like 9 years ago. So 9 years, 10 years later, you want to be thinking about it?
What are we talking about? Oh, decisions you. Oh, okay. Question. What would one of your siblings have to do for you to go? I'm proud of you.
Become an astronaut. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, I don't know. I tell Pops I'm proud of him.
For existing, like
And Diamond.
like he doesn't have to do anything.
No, so I mean, just depending on what he's been doing. Like, he's in school. He's doing good. I have told Diamond in the past, but I don't know if she would remember.
So was it after, like, she's done something? I mean, again, you're just saying, oh, you just woke up one day. Hey, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Is it?
Just random.
Mm.
I start thinking about like, oh, wow. Just, whenever my brain feels like giving out proud of yous.
All right. So what do I have to do for you to tell me you're proud of me?
I'm proud of you, Derek.
So there's not anything to do? Have you ever said it before? You said you had some kind of memory recall of you saying it to Diamond that maybe she didn't recall. Have you ever said it before?
To you?
Hmm?
No.
It's the first one on camera.
I'm glad you're my brother.
I'm proud of you too.
You could be worse. A lot worse.
Backhanded compliment, but thank you. You know what I wanted to tell you? You're really athletic.
You think so?
Which, okay, I've heard this described like from a basketball standpoint when they break down the categories of athleticism. But you being able to track a ball in the outfield, there's athleticism to being able to see the ball and then maneuver yourself to be able to catch the ball. There's athleticism to the timing, to the spacing, to the hand up and all of that. So all of that, just wanted to say, yeah, athleticism and then being able to run and then like at a solid speed. We were running downtown. I was like, yeah, like your athleticism, you are very athletic. And I was like, oh, let me make sure I say that to her.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Whenever Derek says something complimenting himself, just in our day-to-day normal sibling family life, I look at him and I go like this. Because I feel like he pats himself on the back often.
Is that why you haven't told me you're proud of me? Because you're like, well, he does it enough for himself. He doesn't need this from me.
He's a big enough head. I'm not going to inflate it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be the reason, but I don't think so. I think I just don't. One, I hadn't seen you enough. I think it's something that has to be like, I have to see you enough and then one day feel it in my bones that I just am proud of you as a sibling and a person.
I almost, okay, this is a complete outside perspective. I almost think that somebody has to almost be down for you to tell them that you're proud of them.
No.
Or come from down. No?
I think it just has to be like I'm saying. Like I think I have to have watched a sad movie that day, or like I have to just be feeling some type of way that day. Like.
No, the reason I'm saying this is I've seen you too many times over the last 7 months I feel like this to be true. You don't think? 3 times a week, podcast, game, practice. 3 times a week, maybe 4 if there's another game, another event.
Nope.
Or maybe you don't think so.
If I get this feeling, Derek, once a year, because over probably the last 5 or 6 years, I've told Diamond once maybe and Pops once or twice.
Okay.
So it really has to be like perfect time.
So you don't think it has to do with the person's energy? It has to do with you. It's 100% you.
Yeah, it's 100% me. Yep. I tell Khalil I'm proud of him all the time, though. Every day. But that's just like checklist. Like I just let him know what he's doing that makes me proud of him.
Nice.
Yes.
I like it.
But yeah, no, I don't think it has anything to do with anything else. Just mainly because I feel like I'm always proud of everybody. I'm proud of everybody. And, well, I'm trying to think.
Hitler?
I'm saying in my family, Derek. I'm proud of my siblings. I'm proud of my nieces and my nephew. I'm proud of my in-laws. Well, like my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is from my brothers and my brother-in-law. Not. I don't want anybody to get confused. I am proud of my sister-in-laws, of the women my brothers have married, and the man that my sister has married. Just making that clear. So, yeah, I think it's just completely like, sometimes if I start to feel like, I feel proud, or like, oh man, I'm not giving enough. Or sometimes like it goes back to my like, how are other people feeling? Maybe it's like when I'm not feeling super great or something like that. It's like when I start to feel like other people might not feel like they're getting enough appreciation. Maybe that's why you don't get them.
Wait, because I don't ever. Because I don't have vibes of
Underappreciated.
I don't have underappreciated vibes.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's right.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the unfairness. It's one of the great injustices of the world.
Yeah, it's like when I used to say, well, I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's almost like, okay, so we all went to the same elementary, right?
Laura Steele?
Yeah, all of us. So
Go Broncos.
So they used to do this thing called Bronco Bucks, where if you were good, you would get a Bronco Buck, and then you could go spend it at the store. So, like, the kids that were bad, if they were doing one good thing, they would get a Bronco Buck. So, the kids that were good all the time never got them. Because, like, the kids that were bad would have, like, a stack of Bronco Bucks. Because
I'm, like, being re-traumatized right now. It's like you bringing up Bronco Bucks. I'm like... I remember. I feel like I was that category of a kid where I wasn't bad enough to get some Bronco
you were
Bucks.
bad enough. Like, that would be so, like, me and all my good little friends, we would be sitting there with our 3 Bronco Bucks at the end of the week.
I feel like I never ever had even one.
Because you're good all the time, and then the bad kids would be running around the classroom, and then they would sit down for a second, and they'd get a Bronco Buck. So they'd get up and they'd do it again. And you know what? By the end of the week, they would have, like, 50 Bronco Bucks.
I would have fantasies of having just like one day I'm going to have so many Bronco Bucks and I'll be able to get whatever. What is it, candy over there?
Yeah, it was like candy or like a little
like
toy.
This treasure chest.
Erasers, yeah. Like. But yeah, like I remember going home and like getting upset, and I would tell Mom, like, Mom, it's not fair. Like, we're good all the time, you know? But, you know, maybe that's why I went into pediatric psychology, you know, because I did look into that. They say that is not the way to get bad children to behave. The way to get bad children to behave would be to reward the children who are good all the time. Ideally, the way you get the children who run around and do bad things to be good is to verbally say, and I'm going to give another ticket to this good little person over here who's always doing good things, so then they will try to do, you know, good like the other children. Reward good behavior. Don't punish bad behavior, or reward good behavior from a child who's being bad. You know, like, don't reward one good action.
I didn't know. I didn't realize I had so much anxiety about Bronco Bucks. Man.
I would get so, like,
how
so
was I so
mad.
Bronco Buck poor?
Why did they do us like that? Anyways, so yeah. I don't remember having the same awareness or knowledge of you of how it worked and how the people had so much. I just know I just didn't have any. Yeah.
Or maybe I did have some. I just confusing it.
I had some. I mean, yeah, I had some. But mine was 1/10 of what all the other kids,
Yeah.
the bad kids had. So if you had a lot of Bronco Bucks, guess what? You were a bad child. I just want to let you know that.
From the very small population of the Lower Steele Elementary attendees.
Well, that's it. But yeah, I've seen that like same principle be applied in other places, and that like kind of like the same thing, If you're good all the time, you don't get you're doing a good job.
Mm.
So here we are. No, mas.
No. Oh, I guess the other ones I had were this.
But me personally, if I was mom, I would have gone to the school and complained. Like, if Kalel came home and told me that the bad kids were getting all the Bronco Bucks, I would go over there and I would get mad at them just so that they would give Kalel more Bronco Bucks. I would say Kalel should have at least as many Bronco Bucks as that bad child over there.
Mm.
How many does he have in his bag?
See-
Count them and give
see-
him the same number.
See, I think
I have to fight for my son.
I see. This goes back to the whole philosophy I was trying to teach the other day, which, again, y'all were like, show me the email. I'm like, that has nothing to do with anything. But
We didn't know what side you were on, Derek.
what did my email show? Did the email show what side I was on?
You're on our side.
I just said what happened. There's no side.
Well, we didn't want you to make up something and toss us to the wolves.
Okay, so let's say Kalel comes home from school and doesn't get the Bronco Bucks.
Mhm.
And you and I have a conference. Snitches get stitches.
Kalel doesn't get the Bronco Bucks because the
Okay,
bad children. are
Okay,
bad.
so your thing, which is what I was talking about in the chat, is go fix the external situation. My thing is I need my son, I need you to be in a space where you can get your confidence from someone that's not Bronco Bucks. So that means tomorrow, if they flip their script, let me talk to Kalel. So nephew, where I need you to be from a mindset perspective is you need to be able to be confident even if you get no Bronco Bucks. I need you to do well in school even if you get no Bronco Bucks. I need you to step it up and be kind to your classmates even if you get no Bronco Bucks. Even if the bad kids get the Broncos, I still need you to step up to the plate because that's what being a man is. That's what being a person of excellence is, even when the external circumstances are foul. So that means if the referee's bad, if the teacher's bad, if the coach is bad, if the external situations are not good, you still got to step it up as a man and be excellent. That's where my message would be. It wouldn't be go fix the external because I think there are too many externals in life is eventually. So let's say you do that in elementary school. Let's say you do that as a parent in middle school. You do that in high school. Eventually, you're not going to be able to go up to his boss and go, hey, he didn't get the raise. That wasn't fair. Why did the other kids? You know what I'm saying? Like eventually you won't be able to complain to. So where I need my nephew or where I'm going to need my son to get is to be able to step up to the plate even when the external circumstances do not happen to fit or please him.
Yeah, precisely.
Preach it.
You're right. You're right.
I was cooking with some hot grease.
Yes.
Okay, last three things. Number one, when you see somebody whose armpit hair is too long, what's the nicest way to mention it to them in case they don't know?
In case they don't know, Derek, I'm sure if somebody's armpit hair is long, they know.
Okay, so then if you pull, if somebody pulled out the clippers, it goes. Okay, that's kind of a joke just about your situation, but
Thanks.
okay. So let's say you're talking to somebody. Okay, no. If somebody's breath is foul,
Yeah.
what's the situation where you'd actually tell them, and how would you tell them?
When was the last time you brushed your teeth?
Dang, like that?
Okay, like, it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
Like, if it's Jeremy, I'm going to be like, get your steak breath out my face right now.
Yeah.
If it's like, if it's mom, I'll be like, you got to go do something about your teeth or your breath, mom, because I'm about to throw up. No. No, honestly, I don't think a mom's breaths ever smell bad, but,
Okay.
thinking about people close to me. Let's see. If it's like my friend, like let's say my friend, I'm gonna say like, are you having issues with your
Dental hygiene.
dental hygiene, or you have some kind of ulcer in your mouth, or something? Because
What's the most passive?
I would say like your breath smells a little, buddy.
What's the most passive aggressive way to do it? Just buy them a toothbrush and a toothpaste. Is a care package. I like that one.
Yeah.
What if we did that and you left it on the door with a note, with not your handwriting, but you did like a serial killer and you kind of cut out little words from the magazine and you glued it so they wouldn't know it was you, and you just said, to help with your breath situation. How about that?
Yeah.
I like that one.
Or buy them those lollipops that help with your pH in your mouth.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, so I'm obviously an avid Reddit user. So like on Reddit, there was they were asking dentists like questions or something like that, and one of the responses from like somebody who works in a dental office was saying that a lot of the times bad breath is due to an unbalanced pH in your mouth. So there's actually a way for you to know what your pH in your mouth should be and for you to test it. And if it's unbalanced, there's like certain supplements you can take, or there's like like I said, those lollipops that you can buy that help with your teeth. They, one, clean your teeth, and two, like they help balance the pH of your mouth so that your breath isn't as stinky.
Got it.
But I also have known that like it is also possible to have bad breath due to, let's say you have like strep throat and then your tonsils get infected, or you have like, you can end up with like a pocket in your throat that collects food and stuff like that. So like those things too can cause problems. Like actually, I know somebody who even had one of their sweat glands get like super inflamed, and like, got like a stone in there or something like that. But like,
yeah.
I'd assume things like that, if they create pockets in your mouth, food can get in there, germs can get in there. That causes odor.
Got it.
So
Okay.
it's not necessarily because they're not brushing their teeth.
Okay, so if somebody gifted you some clippers, would you?
If you want me to shave my armpits, Derek, just say that.
So, this isn't about me. I'm just curious for you. I'm trying to help men out there who have women who refuse to shave, how they could be learned to deal with somebody like you without them getting triggered.
Me personally, I already said, if Jeremy wants it to not be a hair under my armpits, he can shave them. I don't care. For me personally.
Yeah.
But how to force them to do it, like, if they don't want to, like if they're hippie, and they're like, no, I'm never going to do it.
No, if they're afraid to bring it up to their...
Oh. Just, yeah, definitely maybe pull out the clippers and be like, do you want me to take care of that for you or what?
Yeah, that's nice.
I think that's probably like, oh, I'm, shaving whatever right now.
All right. Father's Day is around the corner. Jeremy's first. You
Yep.
have big plans. You said he doesn't listen to this podcast, so...
Yeah, so I'm planning to just do like just pictures of Kalel and then cut them out in the shape of daddy or dad.
So here's an interesting one. So he likes gifts. He likes artistic gifts.
Oh, I don't know.
So it's back to the whole men and women understanding each other. Because it's like, it's almost like I would like if somebody gave me this gift, and it's like Jeremy's. It could do like a 0 on the radar as far as like meaningfulness. Not saying you don't do it. I'm just saying sometimes the idea of projecting is so relevant. You could project feeling on somebody or project preferences.
Jeremy keeps whatever I get him anyways.
Yeah. Got it.
He's not going to throw it away.
Cool.
So I think it'll be fine.
Got it. All right, everybody.
Time to go.
Any last words?
Nope. Sayonara.
Is the button working today? Button is not working.
Okay. I guess we'll just sit here.
And